Compared
Welcome, loved ones, to Ask a Therapist. Today we are talking about barbed marriage. We have people with experience who have been married for years and years. Possibly they'll tell us more about it. So once again, welcome to Ask a Therapist. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, but do not feel the pressure to do it. Just come on in, enjoy this sound talk. I'll not call it I will not call it advice. I'll say sound talk because you're going to hear it. It's going to be uncut and truth that is not fabricated. So I'm not going to speak so much and bore you. We are going to start. So the first question, I don't know who's going to pick it up.
I'll send the questions to the live as well.
Yeah. Find them.
You should send them. So that's how they keep repeating.
Right.
You should send them.
How?
Why?
She's live already.
Yeah,
so she just okay. I'll send them, then you can resend it.
So yeah, the first question is let's see that. And I don't know, we are not going to force anybody to answer first. But if there's a silence, we can start with the senior members who got married first, you know.
Fantastic.
So let's see.
What was your view of marriage before?
Yeah, the first question, all of us are going to be answering it, is what was your view on marriage before any of us got married? So who goes first?
I thought it was boring. I thought it was boring.
It's not boring.
Supposed to be boring.
Yeah, I thought it looked boring. It looked just unexciting. Yeah.
Your view on marriage before.
And very traditional.
Yeah. There you have it. So, yeah.
I never thought it was boring, but I never really gave it such a big thought. I never thought about it. Because for one, I never thought I would get married. I'm one of those
I think I'll be at there.
Into marriage. You are one of those what? Someone who was just kicked into marriage or
not kicked into marriage.
When
I remember, I'll tell you. When I remember, I'll tell you.
Direct translate and then I'll tell you.
oh, you found yourself.
I was knocked inside marriage.
You are knocked into marriage.
You understand?
Like just ulijipata
ndani na nikasonga mbele.
Okay, so yeah, you were not thinking about it, but you were like knocked into it. Let's call it that.
Okay. I thought marriage was expected. Yeah, I thought it was just the only path, you know. That's what I thought.
Okay. I did not think of marriage. I thought it was a burden. And I had decided long time that I'll never get married. So that was my view. I didn't think I was those people who got married. Those people who needed someone to be with. I thought that was a waste of time because it wasn't necessary. I thought I had enough tools to live life by myself. Yeah.
But do you think that view is formed by the culture we live in? Specifically, Meru. I think this is a very hot topic right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
With especially the way a lot of Meru men are. That then Meru women, do you think all of us as Meru women, just none of us is really saying anything like that was like amazing? Do you think it is informed by our culture?
We are waiting for the parts.
No, we can.
Oh, there's another question about that.
There are other questions, but we can discuss. We can exhaust this one.
I can share something there.
Yeah.
I was a traditionalist, so from the word go, I thought of marriage. I was ready for marriage. The moment I thought I was mature enough, and therefore, every girl I dated, I looked at whether it can be wife material or not. So
From
I was
the
looking
beginning.
forward to marriage.
That is good.
Quite something.
It's very different.
Yeah.
Very
I wouldn't
That's a
say
different age for all other people.
it's very positive.
It's a very far age from today.
From
Yeah,
us.
it
Yeah,
is.
but I think it's very positive.
It is.
For me, the expectation was not positive. It was something that you have to do, you know. It wasn't positive.
I guess I felt neutral, but I just felt like it would be dull and just suck the life out of me. And like,
Yeah, you know.
don't need like this endlessly. You know, you're always together. Oh, then you go, you eat food, you drive in the car, you argue. I mean, they were not having fun.
And you sleep in the
Most
same
married people
bed.
looked like they were not having any fun.
No space.
And just look.
But that's what you saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we are still pre-marriage. Mark you, everyone here is married. So we are getting into the thick of it. You shouldn't say yeah. Nobody
Is that meme?
into the thick of it. Yeah. So yeah, the opinions are still maturing as we go. No one has put I wouldn't repeat their foot in the mouth yet. Until we finish, we will see about that. So yeah, there was this something that was being said about the culture that we come from and marriage. Maybe if you would want to repeat that so that we can respond to it once again, and then we go to the next question.
Yeah, I guess reflecting on what's live right now in Kenya and some of the discussions, around the Meru governor and, it all seeming a lot about a bit, not a bit, it feels chauvinistic. It feels very attacking her because she's a woman. And when you read the comment section of any of those videos, you see a lot of, especially Meru women, piling on and saying, this is Meru men, this is how they behave, this is it. And then you hear a lot them going, that's why I was never going to be that Meru man. That's why. So I wonder if there's something in there about the culture that influences the way people feel about.
I think there is, from experience, I've found also, us being ladies here, I've also found Meru men who actually do not like the culture itself.
That's true.
Someone once said that after circumcision, it's like they were thrown away by their parents to a far away outhouse. That's the culture. Yeah, they felt like they were thrown away, nobody cared about them. These days, this generation is calling the circumcision thing slaughterhouse. In Kenya, they call it in Kiswahili, they say we completed class 8, tunaenda kichinjio. Yes. So they say that because some of them have been saying they have not been feeling the love from their parents, while others say that they were taken to the circumcision places and left to nannies, for nannies to care for them, while they were in that state where they didn't feel like now that culture is really doing it for them. They preferred it like there were their counterparts. We still have a culture in Kenya where people are not allowed to go and get circumcised. They felt those ones had it better than them because there was no one supporting them in any way, whether talk or emotion. So that also could contribute. Then, now as ladies, I just went out as a caveat. So for my experience with Meru men, none actually, I don't know if I should speak for us, but none of us here in this generation has a Meru man.
None of our
None of us
cousins,
is
none
married
of
to a
And
Meru
it was
man.
any of our female cousins or relatives.
Nobody is
Yours
married.
was intentional.
Very intentional.
Mine was also intentional. I actually said I'll
was
never
intentional.
Mine
get
wasn't
married.
either.
I said actually, I'll never get married to a Meru man because the culture is so debilitating for the woman. whereby they see you and they decide, okay, you
Culture plus
belong
experience.
in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Either you belong in the
But do you
kitchen
think
or
that's
you will
something
do
unique to
what I say.
to the Meru culture? It's just
I don't think
what-
so, but in the Meru culture, it seems to overrepresent.
Prominent.
It just feels, I mean, of course, it's not all Meru men.
Yeah,
not all of
Absolutely.
them,
We're
yeah.
not saying that. But it feels very prominent in our culture. Yeah, you know, you stay in your place. Know your place and stay there.
Yeah.
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 You shouldn't speak too loud. And actually, you find even in meetings, I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but I have. You can say something to a man, even any African man, actually, not Meru only, and
Even
they
Mzungu
don't
man.
listen. You can say no up to 20 times as a lady to a man, and they do nothing about it. But if you get a male person to come and say no even once, that person ceases and desists from whatever they are saying.
Yeah, I've really experienced
So,
that.
of course, not even saying no. Sitting like they're uncomfortable with the point. They didn't give them a chance to speak.
Yeah, I've also experienced in my line of work where I had to call people's names, and I called a male name and people like rose up in arms. You are not qualified to say a male name. So I had to be represented by a village elder, and they had to explain that I had to read their names because I was there for the job. So those are some things that happen in the African culture, actually in Kenya, some of the communities. If I say that,
This is not in Meru.
I know, no, it's not, that one is not in Meru. If I say that, some of you will relate. I've had to ask women how many children they've had, but they are not even allowed to carry their own identity cards. So they say, I don't know, ask my husband, what is your name? The husband carries their ID for them. I have experienced it in Kenya. So those are the places we are coming from when we talk about marriage.
I mean, the culture thing, I'd say yeah, it has a bearing on how we think about marriage. And I think for me, it's not even just Meru culture, it's just a general culture, especially coming from the people who raised us, that marriage is a real, I don't know, it's on a pedestal kind of.
Absolutely.
So it's something that, I don't know, there's no other way that you can be in relationship
Yeah.
from how we were raised, you know. So it's a pressure. It's a huge pressure. I don't think that's very positive.
The marriage thing.
Yeah, but that kind of pressure behind, you know, because how you're raised is how you are. It affects a lot of your ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, and in as much as we are talking about Meru men, the Meru culture is very big on weddings.
Yeah, the weddings are big.
You find that marriage is like a pride, something. I think for them it's bigger than any education that a lady can get.
Yes.
Because you might, if you are older than, I'll even say 26 years old, and you have friends that are married, if you go there, the married friends will be looking at you like, are you coming to take our husbands, or what is it? So when you look at my hand, I'll give it as evidence. The fact that when I was telling you about saying no and nobody hears you, I realized that if you have a ring on, people take you more seriously in your work than if you didn't have it on. So that's why it's on. Something
People ask you why it's
Not
on.
because of marriage. It's not because of
no.
It's not because of
marriage.
No, it's not because of marriage. I know I'm married and all that, but I realized most people are not taking me seriously if I don't have my rings on in the career that I have right now.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I never feel like people are taking me any differently because I don't wear a ring.
They do.
I feel like people assume because I don't wear a ring, I'm not worried.
Yeah, they assume that also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but I don't know that if I wore it, would they treat me any differently?
Because they've not
I
tried.
guess I'd have to run the experiment.
yeah. I don't know if I ever noticed because I used to wear a ring.
I bet
The
yours
one you
looked
wore
like your
looked
Maasai
like
one.
a
Yeah, it
gift
didn't look like it was
ring.
a wedding ring.
Okay.
I would say wearing a ring is something traditional, either African tradition, I'm not sure, but it is a white thing. It was brought by Europeans. We Africans never used to wear rings to show that we married. Maybe there was another way of showing by probably dressing. The way married women dressed was slightly different from the way young women who are not married dressed. And it's true, an unmarried woman who is of certain age was looked down upon,
Yeah.
like you're missing something. But even in English, they say they call you miss or you're missing.
That's how you interpret it.
Authorities. Probably. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to interpret. English is a second language.
Yeah.
So I imagine being of a certain age, whether in years or just looks, can make people look at you differently because you're not married. But how would we know that you're not married? Most people will look at me, you're not married,
Yeah.
and if you're not wearing a ring, somebody who is bold enough would ask you whether you're married.
Yeah.
If you're wearing one, whether you're married or not, they assume you're married.
Yeah. That's
And it is true, they look at you differently. Yeah, especially men.
yes.
They see you differently if you're married.
That is so true.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
The like the traditional, those signs of outward signs of marriage. Were there any for men? Traditional, is there something you guys have ever heard of?
For men.
Never had.
I've never had it for men, but there is a culture I know I learned about it a few months ago that even today I don't think I'll ever get comfortable with. I didn't. It's bad. That if you are a married woman and you're in that culture, as another person, a friend of your husband, can actually come and plant a spear. I thought that was
Mary.
gone. It's not Mary.
Masai.
Yes, they can plant a spear, and if you come into your house and find a spear in front of your house, you can't go in, you can't ask
Of the door.
anything out. Actually, you can't get angry at your friend.
And you can go in.
Yes,
If you're married or unmarried.
married.
What?
If you are married, let's talk about your husband.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm asking.
Married.
Only if
married.
you're married.
Yes.
Only if you're married, and only your
Children are communal.
husband's friends
Everything
can do
is
that. They
communal.
plant a spear, and when you find it there, you have to find somewhere else to
To
go.
go. Can't
Because
go
your
But I
friend
think
is
sometimes
inside
we
the
look
house.
at culture in a lens, you put it in a box. So do we try to understand why it was the way it was? Masai are warriors. At any point, the husband could go and be killed.
Yeah.
Now, the next friend is the one who's going to take responsibility for you. Because you don't, there's, it's a do or die culture where the woman really has no other there's no, it's not like then there was like, oh, I'll get my own job and take care of myself, right? Your children and you are going to suffer if there's no man taking care of you.
According to tradition.
So there things evolve and become the way they are for some reason,
For a reason.
right? And then times change and maybe the conditions change, and so the people change too. And they and then new cultures come based on the times that we are.
Yeah, but it's still
On the
going
same
on.
point,
Yeah.
on the same point, even in Meru tradition, I remember you telling me such the same thing. They used to do the such and such a thing, since they used to think that maybe if maybe your husband is cursed and you get children that are going to die,
Cursed?
a neighbor,
Meaning in fact,
Yeah.
something of the sort.
Or if the kids keep dying.
Yes.
It's like
Maybe the man from another family will bring at least
different genetic.
one.
so it's
And
like a
genetic.
survival. It's also a bit of like a survival in an age where there was
No
Nothing
survival.
no really many
Yeah.
options.
But
so
I also think
humans evolved to do what they can.
I also think because women couldn't do it, it can also be an ego thing, whereby if a man was impotent, the brothers would
That's what
protect
she is.
that person from not being able to get children, and
Yeah.
the shame of the man not having kids. Because if spears are being planted and children are coming out, nobody cares or knows who can sire or who can sire.
Yeah.
I also
So
think
there's
that would
this
also
like,
be-
It
there's,
also helps such men.
so culture is like
Do you
interesting.
think it was, like you said, an ego, or do you think it was a way of saving even those marriages?
Yes,
It was
the
also
second
that.
one, not ego.
Yeah.
Tradition, it
All
was
of
not
them.
ego.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I
don't
think
think it was
sometimes
anything to
we
do with ego.
interpret
Yeah,
the
yeah.
traditions with our
Wrongly.
Modern view.
yeah, our
Modern-
modern view, and
Yeah.
I
It
think that's
was not
not
more.
the
I
intention.
would put it this way. Can you imagine yourself, you see how people used to value children. And children, even the Bible values children. It says they are like arrows in your quiver. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, if you are a lady of a certain age,
Yeah, okay.
and you do not have any child, you're married, but you have no children. Can you imagine your position in the society? Children are supposed to be, later on, you are benefactors. They are the ones to take care of you as you grow older. And if you don't have that security, there was no insurance. So that was your insurance.
No.
So if your husband was not selling children, and somehow you sell, you've got some children, they will not be blacklisted as they are not, yeah, in that tradition.
Community.
They are your children and they are your husband's children, and they will play their role.
Yeah.
So I think there was some reasoning to that at that point.
Sure.
Today it may be different because now we have careers, we are able to take care of ourselves even without children.
Yeah.
Very few people now are depending on their children. Actually, children are depending on their parents.
Yeah. Because of the economy.
Because of the economy, no employment, none. So at the end of the day, you find 40-year boys still in there. And their mothers.
But that is a subject for another day.
So today it is possible to get your own security. Children may no longer be the security that used to be those days.
Yeah.
So we are living in a different
The culture. Yeah, I think if we don't interpret with our
Our knowledge for
our knowledge of this time,
Yeah.
then
the 21st
it becomes
century.
a more positive
Yeah, because
association. Yeah.
culture has to be stamped with the time that it was. You know, you can't go into the future and look back at the past and start reassessing it because they didn't know what we know now.
Yeah.
They didn't have the thing we have now. You know, so it's a bit unfair to judge the past with a view with the present that you're in.
Yeah.
But it's also not very fair to carry the relics of the past into the present circumstances and try to use them. That's where the conflict starts.
True. Yeah, that's also okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's call it that. You've had it. If you want to say something, you can do it on the comment section, and we will get back to you. Even if it's on a later date after you see this. Let's go to the second question. Where is it? Yeah. The second question.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second question is, since we've already discussed what our view of marriage was before we got married, and as I said earlier, everyone here is married. So the second question is, what changed? What changed now that you're married?
Personally, I already explained in the first paragraph. I said I just found myself in marriage.
For you,
So nothing.
What has the
Has it changed? Has your view changed?
Ask the
got
question
married.
correctly. My view today.
Yeah.
of marriage? Has it
What did
changed?
you think of your daughters?
What is your view of marriage now?
My view of marriage today is that it depends on the individuals that have come to make that union. Sometimes it's beautiful, other times it's not always as difficult as you assume, or is not as always as happy as it seems to be. But one thing I'm happy and proud of is that out of this union I have a daughter, and I'm happy and proud of her, and it makes me at least try to hold together the marriage that I have because of the children are there, what has come of it, and out from it. Yeah. So to me, it's 50-50. You need to balance.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So we are answering the questions: what changed, and what is your view of marriage now? Unless someone was married yesterday, you have to have the two answers.
Of what changed
What changed?
after you got married?
Yeah, no, what changed that you decided to get married? Because everyone here
The experience.
was not of the opinion. And then, after what changed, what is your view of marriage now?
I think for me, because I said it was something that was expected, I think I did it to get it done. You know, just get it done and out of, above my head, because I had a partner. It's someone I could see being a partner for life. So I was like, you know what, why not? It's not going to harm whatever is happening between us.
Yeah.
So I did it to get it out of my head so that I'm not like, you're not married, Yeah. So that's what changed. Huh? What changed?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
what
what
changed?
changed. Yes.
That's what changed. I just, it was to just get it like over and done with.
Mhm.
Yeah. My view on marriage now.
Yeah.
I mean, marriage, there's merits to marriage, definitely. I can say it's more positive than negative. Especially if you go into it looking for a partner. Yeah.
All right.
Not the
So
okay. I didn't go into it looking for a partner. I went into it so that I could just finish with it. But I found that even our partnership is recognized by people around us differently now. So it only helped cement our partnership. It's not like he's no longer that guy over there who you see on the side. He's part of the family in a different sense than he was before, I think. And I feel like he also feels it, but I can't speak for him. I feel it, yeah. And even when I go to the other side, I think I have more of a because where I'm existing in their sort of in their opinions, within their opinions and their experiences and their values on marriage, I feel like I'm more accepted.
You have status.
Status.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. That's the right word. I think I changed status.
Yeah.
She's always good, so it's like a promotion. No, it's a promotion.
Okay, so
Marriage is a promotion.
it is a promotion
It is a promotion.
for them.
Remember, marriage is the basis of family.
Yeah.
Because whatever we do about it, we could be talking about marriages here and the meaning wedding. And there's a difference in wedding and marriage. When you declare a partner in your family and friends and the people around you, you declare this as my partner. That is what marriage is all about.
Yeah.
Rather than the day of the wedding.
Yeah.
Because once your partner is recognized as your permanent partner, because marriage is expected to be that, marriage is expected to be permanent.
Yeah.
Once we recognize that the permanent partner, then they are able to assimilate into your family.
Yes.
Remember, we are Africans, and Africans live in extended families. And although it's dying now, but there's still the nuclear family where you are fully integrated into the families. Let's not use the word acceptance.
Yeah.
It's actually integrated. You may not be accepted by the way, because you could be having showed us the wrong way with some of the family members, and they may not even accept you,
Yeah.
but they still recognize you as part of them.
Yeah.
Just like a brother who is wayward, you don't like him, but he's still your brother.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it. Even your sister's husband is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or your children's husbands or wives are the same. You may not like them, but you have to deal with it because they are your family.
Live with them.
I think marriage in that sense is positive. It's a positive move.
All right, thank you. Now that we are talking about barbed marriage, I got stuck somewhere about marriage being a promotion, and I would like to ask those of us that are seated here, is it a, okay, who is marriage a promotion for? Is it for everyone? Is it for, according to the African culture and where you are coming from, is it for everyone? Is it for the man or is it for the woman? Who is getting the promotion here?
Both.
When I was saying it's like a promotion, I meant both of us
Both.
in each other's families.
Ah, now that's good.
Yeah, in the familial aspect. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, now I feel better. We are okay. I'm also to answer. So, and we are not actually, I'm sure you've noticed nobody is mentioning names. That's intentional. We are not going to be doing names, but we are doing this, how can I say it? The skeleton kind of way. So, yes, what changed?
I think I met someone who I thought it would not be boring. It would not be fun, and it would be an adventure. And also, I got married for the visa. No, I'm kidding. But also very practically, I did want to spend time with this person, and I knew that if we were not married, then legally, whatever countries I wanted to be in or live in, it would always be another issue, right? So there was some practicality to it, but I didn't get married because I thought I was expected to, or I wanted to conform, or I thought it was a magical family unique thing, or because it's a promotion.
Yeah.
I don't know, those things never really occurred to me. It really was the sense of serendipitously I met someone who I really thought this life will be nicely lived together, and we will do the things we both like, and we're adventurous, and we will agree on the kind of marriage that makes sense for us, not whatever anyone else says. So I agree with the point about like it's between what changed is like what you are saying about like it's about the two people who are getting married. I understand that it then comes with, and I guess I didn't understand to what extent it then comes with the whole family baggage and all of this other things. I don't enjoy those things, but I understand it comes with all that. It's fine. It's the culture I'm in. It's where I live. That's how it is. But those things I feel are still a bit traditional. I think they still feel quite traditional, and when they make sense and when they are valid and they have good reason, great. And when they stop making sense, will not hesitate to follow them, not to follow them. Yeah, because I think you also can't get married for other people.
Yeah.
Because you have to be the one in it, living it day to day. So it has to work for you.
Yeah, and the second question.
What was the other? What do I think
What is
now?
your view of marriage now?
I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting journey. I would only recommend it in specific circumstances. I don't think it's universally recommended.
Yeah,
I don't
agree
think
with
it is recommended for anyone anytime. Oh, just because you met someone now you should get
I
married.
agree with that.
I think you need to be sober about it, especially if you want it to last. Of course, now, not all marriages last, and maybe that's okay, maybe it's not. But if you want it to last, I'd say you need to enter it soberly. Think of the practical as well as the magical, the promotions, whatever, but think of the practical as well. That's what I think. So, and I think it also serve, don't don't underestimate the not the logistics, the other part, the government. It's like telling the government who matters to you, telling the whole world, including the government. This is the person who will pull the plug if you are at the hospital. This is the person who will make life and death decisions for you. Don't underestimate that part, and just go in with like magic and butterflies, in your head. Yeah,
To get better when
there's
you
a
get
real practical logistical thing, and that is important too.
Okay. It's okay.
All right. Okay, thank you. So that brings that to me. People are going to be surprised with what I'm going to
Are we?
Okay.
so what changed? Okay, let me tell you about it. The person I met also never wanted to get married. So we met and we actually mutually agreed that none of us are looking to marry in their lives. So, and we were fine with that. So we stayed a few years, and then we realized that we would love to be married because of the experience that we had after those years. So I'd say we fell in love. I know it's cliche, but yeah, that is what happened. So that is what changed. Love came. And the other question was, what is my view of
What's your
marriage
view
now? I'll say this first. There is merit in searching for a good fit. Marriage is good, but it's a relationship. It's a meeting of people that grew up separately, and it's something that I'm getting to it, and it's something that how can I say, you have to build upon, because you actually have your own ideals. The other person also has their own ideals when they are coming into this marriage. And one thing that I have found to work is having respect for one another. If you get into a marriage, no matter how in love you are, and you don't respect your partner, or you are not able to communicate well, then I can assure you, actually, that's certified that things that are going to crop up are such that you never imagined. So you need to build that pretty fast, and that happens in the first year, where we did, I will call it storming and farming. You like
does that
break
mean?
up ground, and then you put down cement and smooth it. So that happens in the first year a lot, and then from then it comes in portions, whereby you can actually feel the relationship changing. The love that you had before changes. It's still love, but it gets deeper in a way that you couldn't speak of before you got married. It's the love that you have, the surface kind of love. It's still there, but now as you get into marriage, years into the marriage, the love comes in layers. I think that's it.
That's interesting. The layers.
Yeah, it comes in layers. Let's see the third question. So what I found to work, I wouldn't want to go without saying this, is you having been careful. Don't just jump into marriage because it's time. Don't jump into marriage because you think that is what is expected of you, because I can tell you for sure, those people that expect you to get married, the way it goes, their opinions are not going to matter when you are in the thick of it. The two of you, it is going to be just you and your husband or your wife. So you have to be sure that the person that you're getting married to is a person who has, or who, when everything has gone south or west or left field, whatever you may want to call it, they'll be in your corner no matter what. It's someone who trusts you no matter who says what. You know that person will come in and ask, this is happening, what is going on, instead of, jumping and doing things fast before asking. You have to make sure that person has your best interest and you also have their best interest. It's not a one-sided kind of thing, because that can get old pretty fast, and then you'll have to find other things to do. So I'll leave it there, because I think I can talk the whole night about marriage.
The local thing.
Yeah. Open it for me. We go to the fourth question. So the fourth question is, yes, now this is it. In case you're wondering, we are getting there. How was your first year of marriage? Not in a nutshell, just tell us about it. Let somebody learn from your experience on your first year of marriage, the difficulties that you faced. And because when we started at Ask Kathoni, I told you that we are not going to be doing sob stories here. If we are talking about difficulties, then we are going to talk about how those difficulties were. Is it overcame or overcome?
Yeah, overcome.
Yeah, how those difficulties were overcome. So you tell us the difficulties you had in the first year, what you had to do about it, so that it could be something that will help someone else. Anything you say that is negative, make sure it is something that was sorted out that can help the next person. So,
Who can remember the first year?
how was
Really?
your first
Very
year
well.
of marriage? Yeah, you can start.
It was very difficult because I thought I was also very young for marriage. But I was not very young. I just thought I was. And you see, I was not even prepared. I was not even ready for this thing. I had not even talked about it. We just found ourselves living together. And the baby is coming, it's on the way. So there was no turning back. It's like you're either, we're either getting together, you're splitting, you go your way, I go my way. Actually, that's what I wanted personally.
To do what?
To just go. Detach myself, go with my baby, fend for myself. But now, the other half never wanted that. Wanted to stick with me. So you see, within this first year, there was a lot of confusion. I thought this man was I don't know, what should I say? He was very quiet most of the times. So I thought I was doing everything all by myself, talking to myself. He wouldn't even suggest what he wants me to do or what needs to be done. I thought I was addressing this thing alone.
That's hard.
It was for me. But somehow, through the years, not only 1 year, through the years, we found our way to maneuver and walk through. Yeah, have I answered?
Yes, you know, it's according to your experience, so every answer is correct. so yeah.
I don't really remember anything specific. I just remember enjoying setting up a house, getting a dog, traveling with someone, always there, and they're always happy to be with me and to be in the same place I am. I really don't remember anything that was that negative. It felt really nice.
That's nice.
Yeah, there's nothing that stands out that was like a massive challenge. I think challenges come with time. Well, in my experience, they've come with time. Not at the beginning, it was just magic. Always magic. Always
The
lovely.
bed of roses.
Yeah, always exciting. It was just lovely. But over time, I guess you settle into who you are, your personalities, the way you like to do things, and that can take some learning to really understand the other person and to understand who they really are, because it takes almost a lifetime to get to know someone really. So with every new thing you learn and you realize, if it's not a thing that makes you happy, then you have to adjust to it and figure out your way through it. So I think at the beginning it felt just fun.
It was fun.
Downsides.
That's good. That's good. So my first year of marriage, we are getting to you. My first year of marriage, let's see. Okay, you know my history. So we had courted for close to 5 years before marriage. So my first year of marriage was like climbing Mount Everest when it was when it was snowing the most. Because now what happened is we started it out running, the storming and forming I was talking about. So we got in there and started relearning each other. So you find that the person you thought you knew when you weren't married is not a different person, but has other things and ideas, and also their way of doing things, and you have your own. And that's when I realized that I was someone who wanted things to go only my way. So,
I think
and
that's a family trait.
In marriage, I learned very fast that there is nothing like everything going your way every time. You had to adjust, and yes, there's what. Okay, no, let me not do that. So what happens is, in our culture, people expect that the man is doing the leading, the woman is always doing the following. I learned very fast, yes, leading is okay, but at one time or the other, you can find one or the other leading. Number one, let me call it number one and number two. There's a point you'll find yourself at number one. There's also a point you'll find your husband at number one. I learned that very fast. And then the person that I married can keep quiet for a whole year and they'll be comfortable without saying a thing.
You have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, and I have a YouTube channel. I'm sure you've noticed I have many channels and you've never seen the person. He is very private and I'm okay with that. That was part of the storming and forming. So we had to learn how to communicate with someone who communicates like I can speak the whole day without getting tired. And one who can, unless they choke on water, they can also stay the whole day without saying anything. So we had to sit down and make an effort. We actually had to speak about communication. We need to talk about this because if we don't talk about this, then we are not moving forward.
Become a thing, a big thing.
So we started from a place of understanding. There is one who speaks 100 miles a second, and there's one who doesn't speak at all, and we started coming together slowly. And that's how now we started sorting out the Mount Everest thing that I was talking about, and I found it worked. Communication actually does build trust. I found out if you don't talk. And we also learned not to assume what the other person is thinking. That is the first way to getting a million misunderstandings. So we started at a point where we said, what I say is what I mean. If I didn't say it, I didn't mean it. And if you're not sure, ask. Then from there on, we kept moving and it has worked beautifully. I'm now, my now on marriage is very good, but a bit merit in searching for a good fit, because if you get married to a person who none of this can be done and nothing can be remedied, then it can become an uphill task. I've seen things that happen in marriage. People who get married and they go to their honeymoon and they come back divorced. Though in our country you have to wait for 3 years for that to happen, but they are it's called irreconcilable differences. So please, before you get into marriage, it is a very good institution. I will vouch for it. But have your eyes open, look for the red flags, the yellow flags, all the flags, and know if you are dealing with it. Don't get into marriage thinking, maybe this person is treating me this way because we are not married. If I get married, this is going to get better. I can assure you, when you get married, what you thought was going to get better will get worse. It gets better. So be sure you are ready to be with that person through thick and thin, and you love them enough to sit down and listen, and also to have your opinion changed, not forced into change, because an adult person cannot be forced to change. You have to agree Not to agree to disagree, but agree. Yes. How was your first year of marriage?
Well, to begin with, that was over 35 years ago. So it's not easy to remember. But there's a few nuggets that I remember. Like I said, I've always thought the next girlfriend is my wife. So I was looking forward to marriage. But what I was not looking forward to is the real, marriage is just getting a wife into your house.
Yes.
And maybe that was the end. I'd not thought about after that.
Yeah.
So the first year of marriage, though being fun, it was not a honeymoon.
Yes.
Because I expected my partner to change drastically because she's married.
Yes.
Because she's my wife.
It's
I
like
expected that
a
to look
spell.
at me differently because she's my wife. And she didn't do it. She looked at me the same way. And she treated me the same way she was treating me when she was a girlfriend.
Yes.
And that was a bit of difficulty in me because I don't know what I was looking for, a wife in her rather than the same girlfriend. But I would say things were not as dramatic as I'm saying because we lived for 2 years before we wedded.
Yeah.
And to me, the day we wedded is the time I married.
Oh, okay.
That was what I was ahead. So I expected the 2 years, the next 1 year after the 2 years to be different, but it wasn't. So there was a conflict until I learned that this is the way of life. And if you ask me today, any two people who are reasonable, who at least like one another. I use word love very sparingly because it's been misused. Who like one another, who respect one another, they can make it work.
Okay.
Regardless of their background, regardless of if they are committed to make it work, it will work.
I agree.
Thank you for
The wise word.
yes,
Wise counsel.
the wise counsel. Now we are on the second last question. No, the second last, then the advice. The
Like
second
me.
last. It's not.
E
Eh, it's 10.
tena dajenga ndainya.
Yeah.
We need to have fun and
So we should
enjoyment.
finish in the no, we should finish in the next 10 minutes.
Yes. So we join them up together, the two questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so that question is how is it going now? And then to the person listening to you, what insight can you give them about marriage? That is one considering marriage and one who just got in it.
It's going well, I'd say. It's not always roses and butterfly like year one, but it's not like doom and gloom.
Yeah.
So I think it's going pretty well. Yeah. I don't really have much else to say about that. I think my advice to someone who's not who's considering it is I think we've talked about it already a lot, right? Like you go into it with the eyes wide open, make sure you think about the practical as well as the romantic, and understand that marriage is also what you want it to be. Apart from the thing you sign at the court, which we all have to sign the same thing that looks alike, everything else is kind of up to you. And so just know that. And so if you've just got married, also know that, right? Fine, you signed a piece of paper that is universal for all of us, but then what you do on a day-to-day basis to be happy and to live with this person is up to you. It's not up to the paper or up to society or what anybody else tells you it's supposed to be. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So, how is it going now? And what advice would you give to the person who wants to get into the marriage institution or who has just gotten into it?
I think she nailed it. But the best, the one thing I would like to tell people is respect is paramount. Respect is prime. Yeah.
So, to you, person, how is it going now?
How it's going, it's good. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, how is it going now, and what advice you'd like to give?
Well, I would say, I think the word is pragmatic. So, most of the expectations of the earlier years have kind of been fused. You know, you adjust yourself, you adjust your expectations, and therefore you exist together. You kind of like merge together, and the days that you put into your marriage, the days that I'm putting to my marriage to the beginning, but it has developed to some sort of a relationship which is more like a fusion. The people call it becoming one. You don't even remember you're married, but you stay in the same room, sleep in the same bed, you do things together, you consider each other's opinion, but you don't do that because you're married. You do that because of the person next to you is part of you. So it's like we have become part of each other. Yeah. What I would advise people is when you find yourself in marriage, either by default or by design, marriage is for life. Try and make it work. You can consult a therapist to show you how to try and make it work, because people are people. You move to the next partner, you might find it worse. It might be good on one side, the other side might, so you never find 100% fulfillment in what you do. So you keep adjusting yourself and make it work. Because again, the beauty of marriage is the basis of family. And family is the real basis, is the real thing. Because family is insurance, family is happiness, family is life. You live a life together. Because otherwise, when you live with strangers, they walk away one day and but families are always there. They are the people who support. They are the people who can pull the plug, like one of us said, who can be consulted. Yeah, who can be consulted when things happen. Yeah, we call them next of kin. Yeah, you can call them if I'm found in a ditch somewhere, or if I'm found somewhere that I'm unable to help myself. It's a family to be called. So living in a family is a kind of an insurance.
Yeah.
And everybody requires that kind of stability to be able to function properly. Otherwise, you would live with strangers. Some people live with gangs, others live with personal assistants and so on and so on, but you'll never be family. Yeah, I think family is more closer and more fulfilling than a host of servants around you and so on. Yeah, I think marriage, I would advise people to get it right with open eyes and with positive attitude. Not going there judging that, oh, men are like this, men are this. You get, don't call him a Luya or it's a man. Yeah. We always say that the Kabete women are in for what you have. And one day, they will, there's a saying that they will never get the gray hair shaved in your compound. They will run away and they will run away with your property. There is that saying. So if you take your wife to be the Kabete woman, you'll never you'll never enjoy the family date, the union. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. So how is it going now? I'll say it's going very well, and I'll do it again. Then what insight I'd give to the one getting into marriage or the one that's already in it? Marriage is good. It is very good. That's the insight I'll give. Extremely good when you pick right. Right is relative to you when you get your partner. But one thing that I'll emphasize on is as we are here, we all know that in marriage, you might get into it thinking that what you sign for is what you'll get, but find it's a different thing. It's good to be married. Marriage is permanent, yes, but since we talked about red flags, yellow flags, and all that, I'm here to tell you that it's okay. If you find yourself in an abusive marriage, you've explored all the options, nothing is working, then you can make a step or another decision. I'm not promoting divorce, no, and I actually say when you get into marriage, you get into it for the long haul. But then remember, it's two of you. You are not one. Who become one when you get married? So not my advice, my insight to you is marriage is a relationship that you have to keep working on. Yeah, someone said it's a certificate that you get before you qualified. So you get that blank slate and you start qualifying. So whatever happens in the marriage that you are into, don't call yourself a failure, because you are not a failure. You've tried everything that needed to be done, and if it works out, that's very good. If it doesn't, that is also not something that you can blame yourself for. But all I can say is put your best foot forward. Marriage is worth it. So is there anyone who wants to say something before we wind up?
No, this was a very interesting discussion. Yeah, very eye-opening.
I just wish I could hear something from the other side. The people who are hearing us.
They will get their comments.
You'll get comments.
I'm sure they're already there, it's just no one is viewing.
Yeah. We are waiting on you when you see this video to ask the questions. We might even get together to answer them.
Do a part 2.
Yeah. And do a part 2 if you wish, with the questions that you'll have asked. We are thankful for watching this, and we are hoping that this helps you to decide or to know what the next step will be. So thank you so much for being with us, Therapist. We love you guys, and let's meet for the next session. We have a safe space on Tuesdays, and we will be doing a lot of talks. The aim is to grow together and to walk this life with things and information that is helping us move forward each day. So thank you so much. We are going to leave you with that. We have been having a healthy discussion. We are happy to have spoken to you. And yes, once again, we love you. And Jesus loves you. See you next time.